All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division where Errol Spence Jr. has had a proposition made to him by a maybe future undisputed champion in the division, TSZYU, for a fight. But critics have said some things to me that I thought were really interesting about Errol Spence at 154 pounds and how most likely he will not beat TSZYU. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video we're going to be in the 154-pound division where we are going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr. being invited or offered a fight with TSZYU to take place in Australia. Now, and why I think that would be a lot of crazy stuff has to happen for that to take place, but I wouldn't put it beyond the realm of possibility. However, spoke with some people who gave me their very interesting opinion that if Errol Spence Jr. did that, it would be career suicide for him because he would not be able to beat TSZYU. Now, before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, thank you so much for your continued support for the channel. Really does mean a lot in the live streams we do every day and in the super chats and the cash apps, and also in the videos we do by hitting the like button. Many people now are supporting and sponsoring the videos through the super thanks. So thank each and every one of you. Barbara D specifically, I lost track of your comment where you did that. I will find it and reply to it today. But thank you so much for your support on the last video. But let's get into this, okay? TSZYU is a fighter out of Australia. He is the son of CHARLO'S. If you're not familiar with who CHARLO'S is, CHARLO'S was a former 140-pound fighter, very solid fighter, knocked out Zab Judah, but eventually lost his title to Ricky Hatton, and what I thought was a bit of a surprise loss at the time. But TSZYU is now the mandatory challenger for Jermell Charlo's undisputed title at 154 pounds. When Jermell Charlo broke his hand in training, preparing for that fight got pushed back, and TSZYU took on a fight that will take place in between, and that is with Tony Harrison, a guy who is a former WBC 154-pound champion, who has a 1-1 record with Jermell Charlo. Got knocked out by Jermell Charlo in his last fight, and now those guys are going to be fighting in Australia. Now, when that information came out that TSZYU would be fighting Tony Harrison, Errol Spence Jr. responded by saying he would bet, I think he said he would bet $10,000 on Tony Harrison to beat TSZYU. And TSZYU has now responded and said, look, I'll take, well, I don't know if he said I'll take that bet, but he's like, look, if he wants to fight, I can't wait for him to get to 154 pounds. And now is saying that when he beats Jermell Charlo, that he would be happy to welcome Errol Spence Jr. down to Australia to try his hand at beating TSZYU in Australia. Now, here's the thing. That portion of it ain't gonna happen, because TSZYU just saying that tells me that, man, you're missing something a little bit here, because when Errol Spence Jr. goes to 154 pounds, brother, it's not going to be him. If you fight Errol Spence Jr., it's not going to be Errol going to Australia to try to fight for your belts. It's going to be you fighting Errol Spence Jr. in Dallas Stadium, because that's where the money is. Now, again, people could argue and say, well, we don't know, because, you know, TSZYU is the son of CHARLO'S. He's from Australia. If he becomes the undisputed champion, there's going to be a lot of money offered for a fight in Australia. I still doubt very much that is going to overcome and surpass the amount of money that they would make in Dallas, Texas for a fight with Errol Spence Jr. But hey, look, man, crazier things have happened. I know Errol is somebody that says, he doesn't need a home court advantage. He's been willing to go and fight Kell Brook over there in the UK. Maybe he would be willing to go to Australia. But the bigger problem for that, my Australian friends, is that TSZYU is never going to get there. Okay, TSZYU, to run that gauntlet, TSZYU's got to get past Tony Harrison, and he's got to get past Jermell Charlo. Tony Harrison, I don't see him beating Tony Harrison unless he stops Tony Harrison on my scorecards. But I know, however, that there's a difference between my scorecards and the scorecards that may land for the judges that watch that fight in Australia. So, if Tony Harrison does not really literally beat him every single round, similar to like the way that O'Shaquie Foster beat Ray Vargas for the WBC was it 130 pound title or super featherweight title, is going to be tough for Tony Harrison to get a decision out of that. But however, when that fight comes back to Vegas or wherever TSZYU comes to fight Jermell Charlo, more than likely TSZYU is going to lose that fight, and he very well may get knocked out. TSZYU, and I've seen him fight several times, is a good fighter, strong guy, similar to his father. However, I never really thought that CHARLO'S was everything they chalked CHARLO'S up to. He was a big barrel-chested 140-pound fighter with a good jab, a very strong right hand. But when it comes down to it, not very mobile, and is somebody that most definitely can be outboxed. But in the case of his fight with Ricky Hatton, he got in there with a guy that was the same size as him and really just outworked him, got on the inside, outworked him, and wound up beating him. I see the same thing taking place with TSZYU. Last time I saw TSZYU fight was against Terrell Gauchard. I do believe he got dropped against Gauchard. And Gauchard is somebody that really does fight with his head, with his hands, with basically earmuffs on, and somebody that is not tremendously active. And I thought that TSZYU had definitely had difficulties with him. When you're in there with Jermell Charlo, Jermell Charlo, I think, has faster hands. I think he's a technically more sound fighter. I think he's a bigger puncher. And if you're going to sit there and try to go, chest to chest with Jermell Charlo, you very, very well may very well wind up laid out on your back, right? And if nothing else, you're going to get outboxed and outscored because of the activity level of Jermell Charlo. But even if you get to that, the same people I'm talking to are saying, well, if he gets past that, then Errol Spence Jr. is too small. I would ask you to please go back and watch that fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Yordenis Ugas. I just rewatched it last night. Man, I'm telling you, man, that guy's got an absolutely positively, he's got an unbelievable engine and slips shots very well, has a very good chin, always in position to throw shots. So you more than likely, with a guy like Errol Spence Jr., TSZYU is going to have to try to knock it. Is going to have to knock him out to get a win, especially if Errol's smart enough not to go over to Australia, but to stay in Texas or go to Las Vegas for that fight. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing how all that stuff plays out. I'm really glad that we are moving past, that really stifling conversation that was taking place, waiting for Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford to fight. We also have another welterweight fight coming up that just got announced with Manis Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz. That's supposed to take place in Texas. So, and then you've got Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. You got good fights taking place at 154. So hopefully when Showtime releases the rest of its schedule, because those are the most of the fighters at 154 and 147 with the PBC, we'll start getting some really good fights. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.